Okay. Listen, I'll go as fast or as slow as you want. Slow me down if you're not, if you need more, if you want me to go. Lisa said strategy. Julie said both. Okay, I'm just going to do this. All right.
You guys see the PowerPoint?
Yes? Okay. So as a reminder, people are desperate for hope. Lisa DeMeo said that today on her call. Amazing call. So household debt has increased the fastest in 15 years. Credit card debt, 46 billion, highest in 20 years. 46% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. Okay, so you've heard some of this. The child care system has failed, and it's costing parents too much and employees are being paid too little. So half the country is living in a child care desert. So people are looking for the help that we're bringing. So I went through this, all of these baby boomers. If you want any of these articles, I can send them to you. All right, so obesity epidemic. You guys, look at this number. Close to half of the U.S. population is projected to have obesity by 2030. 2030, half of our population.
Yeah, but there's one more.
Mark wants me to go back. Here we go.
And a quarter will have severe obesity. 25%.
So again, people need what we are offering.
That's 80-some million people. It's frightening.
And that affects the economic state of our nation.
100%.
In such a huge way. I mean, it just affects our healthcare, our cost of way of living, our quality, our mindset, everything. It just.
And if you look at the National Institute of Health is saying, they're suggesting that obesity is associated with increased risk for developing dementia. Right. So just think about that. Think about the escalation of that, Julie, and how many people are going to be affected, like cardiovascular and heart disease. It is a modifiable risk factor that can be impacted by diet and exercise. So we can help people.
Lifestyle.
All right. So you guys, we're going to come back to this because I want to get going. We'll save all these. That's part of strategy. Okay. We'll come back to that.
Yeah, for some reason, Lynn thought it was a 2-hour call tonight.
Okay. So we're going to start here just by okay, so again, 2 leadership ranks that you need to know, 2 drivers for your Isagenix business. One is the linear income, which is as we're building our business and gaining those bonuses. And the other is the stars, which is where you're stepping into residual income. Okay, so let's look at the rank for stars. So this is also listed in Isagenix business. I think it's easier to read here. So if you want to take a screenshot of this, this is something worth remembering and having, especially when you're setting your own goals, but just to know what it looks like as you're running through the ranks. So there's still linear income that is going to escort you up through the stars. So as you see, 1 star, it's 1,000. That's split into 2 separate installments. The first time and second time you hit it. And then you have bonuses for 2-star, 3-star, and 4-star. Okay, see that, guys? Really easy. 1,000 for 1 star, 2,000 for 2-star, 3,000 for 3-star, 4,000 for 4-star. So that's the bonuses that are available as you're easing more into residual income. They're there for you on as you're stepping into residual. You're still getting bonuses of linear. Okay, so knowing what those cycles look like. Okay, so in order to really understand how the numbers start to add up for you, you need to remember paid as executive. What are the benefits of being paid as executive? So you guys, how many consultants do you need for executives? Unmute and shout it out.
10, 5 on each side.
5 on each side.
Perfect. And can they stagger, or do they have to be there all at once?
All at once.
All at once. And what are the bonuses for Crystal Executive?
1,000 and 10,000.
Okay, 1,000 and
1,000.
10,000 next. That's right, $1,000. In what time frame, Dorothy?
180 days.
Well done. Okay, who has their Lee, have your hand up?
Yeah.
Yes.
So I know we should have enough people that it doesn't matter, but what I get confused with is they have to all be active at one time, but is that for a day, a month, a week, for an overlap of a month?
At the same time. They all have to be active at the same time.
So if they're all active at the same time for 20 minutes, you're executive.
But you're only paid as executive if they're all still active, when?
You're paid as executive when they're always
When
active.
they're continuously active.
Right. And which is why you're always building more consultants in your business, because the goal again is to get to executive, stay paid as executive, because all of these bonuses that follow require you to be paid as executive. So
Every
you,
day of every month.
right. So your recognition rank, what as Mark said, 20 minutes as executive, you achieve it. But you want to keep always building your consultants and the depth of your consultants. And so then you want to grow executives in your team. So for the executive leadership pool, the 10% match, the corporate placements and associate leads, and the leadership pools, you have to be paid as executive.
Continuously.
Okay? Yep. And then that is where you jump into the guaranteed pay. So all of these things I just listed for you are guaranteed payments that you get when you're paid as executive. Okay.
So for instance, for the executive leadership bonus for February, right? The commission month ends this Sunday for February. So from January 22nd to whatever this Sunday's day is, Isagenix is going to measure you. It's going to keep track of you. And if you've been paid as executive for every day continuously, then you're going to get paid the executive leadership pool. And
But those executives could have potentially, one could have dropped off as long as there was another one to replace them. It doesn't have to be the same 10.
It does not have to be the
It
same
just
10.
has to be, you have to
Right.
have 10 at all times.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be the same 10. It just has to be at least 10. And where do the 10 have to be for executive?
Half and half.
Half and half, 5 on the left, 5 on the right. In the once you are recognized and your recognition rank is executive, then you can place, like when we're doing an crystal reset, like right now, you can put those executives, your consultants, anywhere you need them in your business. But you have to achieve at one time 5 and 5 first. Okay. And there's a lot of really good reasons for that. And as we build out strategy, you'll understand it. Okay. So you guys, now we're going to start to go into the income ranks. So the stars are where you are moving into residual income. Okay. So like you're growing through the leadership levels, that is linear income. It's time you achieve something and you're paid for it, right? As you move into the stars, it's where you're getting recurring income. So again, one cycle a week is going to give you about 2,800 in the bank. So that's how would you like to get almost a $3,000 increase in salary, right? $3,000. That's a lot of money to people right now. A lot of people aren't seeing those kind of increases. But if you add everything else in, one cycle a week plus the executive leadership bonus plus the pools, you're at $26,800 a year. That's a big number. How would you like to give yourself almost a $30,000 raise? All right. So if anybody isn't sure of how we're getting to these numbers, you need to ask us. So I think Kim had a question here. Do you want to answer that?
Yeah, I think Kim, if I'm going to rephrase your question that you asked a couple of weeks ago. So I think the question was, how can you be paid as executive and only cycling one time a week? Right? So it's actually really simple. And the important thing to remember in this, you guys, is this compensation plan is really, really, really simple math. I mean, honestly, it's not complicated math. So how can you be paid as executive and only be cycling one time a week? Well, it's actually a little bit less than that, because as we just talked about, to be paid as executive, how many people do you have on your team?
Somebody answer.
30.
30.
Okay. And in order to be qualified to remain active as an associate, what's the minimum number of BB that each person has to have?
100.
100 BB. Okay. So 30 people, which is 5 with 2 and 5 with 2. 30 people times 100 BV is what?
3,000.
3,000, right? So because we're doing this in the most basic way, you need 5 on the left and 5 on the right. So you've got 15 people on your left team and 15 people on your right team.
Is that clear?
Does that make sense? Okay. So 15 people left, 15 people right. Each of those 15 times 100, it's 1,500 BV on each side, right? One of those legs is your 2/3 leg. So in this example, let's make it the left, right? So you're going to divide that 1,500 BV for the month, right? Because people don't buy by the week. 1,500 divided by 600, right? Which is 2/3 of 900, which is what you need to cycle. So 1,500 divided by 600 is 2.5, right? Isagenix again, what do? They round up. So on your 2/3 leg, you have enough BV for 3 cycles. Now on your 1/3 leg, you have the same 1,500 BV, but you're dividing it by 300 because it's your 1/3 team. You've got 5 cycles there, right? So in this case, in this commission month, the way we're looking at this, the lowest common denominator is 2.5 cycles. And that's how many cycles you're going to earn for the month.
You see that? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's all about 600. Could you see that, Wanda?
It
One-
seems like too much
course.
BV to only be making one cycle, but when you think about it, you have to divide those numbers by the 4 weeks in the month. And when you do that, it brings it right into basically it's less than 1 cycle per week.
Yeah. It's 2.5 cycles, and let's take a 4-week month, 2.5 cycles in a 4-week month. So yes.
So
never thought
what
of
you're
it that way.
doing when you're building your business, you're laying the foundation of your business, right? And so what Isagenix does, as you're starting to build up your residual income, they're paying all these other bonuses to help support you as you're laying the foundation of your recurring asset, right? And so that's why it may be 1 cycle, less than like 2,800 a year, about less than a cycle a week, but look at the pay that you're getting from it on an annual basis.
And also think of this, you guys, too. So that numeric example was bare bones.
Yeah.
30 people out of 100 BV. And you don't need that much more BV on your 2/3 team to get that 2.5 cycles, which is 3. You're going to get paid for 3, up 1 more cycle. You only need another 300 BV, and you're actually at 1 cycle a week.
And so again, when you're building a team, so I'm adding strategy into numbers here, you guys, so you're getting both. When you're building your team, the importance of when you're thinking about a team and you're putting it together. So back to when we were just talking about Jenny and the people that she organized in her meeting, they all are financially linked together on the same leg. So you have all of these different people coming in, and they're all sharing, they have an intention to build a business, and they're sharing their network. We have a network they have a network that you don't know. And we have a method, we have the expertise in
And a
building a
system.
business and a model and the system. And so what happens is, as they are exposing their network to you, they're bringing more and more people in. So as a business builder, Sue she wants to start to bring in her network. So she brings in Jim, and maybe you bring in Sam, and then Jim, who also is looking to build a business, is bringing in Joe. And everybody is coming in. And so what happens is your numbers, because of the team dynamic, where you have everyone financially linked to each other, starts to build synergy on your team. It starts to create a sense of urgency as everyone starts to bring their business partners in. And this is how you gain momentum. And that is the process that gets you past those early numbers into residual income. So again, let's look at this. Let's look at the dynamics of this. When you are an executive. There's your 3,000 BV. Do you want to do this, Mark?
Yeah, so this is just taking it one step further. So in this example, you are the executive here, right? You have 30 people at 100 BVs, 3,000 BV. And so each position, each executive that you have on your team is also going to have a minimum value of 3,000 BV, right? Again, 30 times 100, 30 times 100, 30 times 100. It's simple. And so each executive is worth 3,000 BV flowing up to your position. It's why and where duplication, because let's think about it, right? Managing 30 positions, 30 accounts, just you as executive. I mean, it doesn't sound like a big deal, but if you're constantly chasing consumers as opposed to committed consumers, which is what we all are, right? We have an intention to build, we have an intention to create income. It's a completely different scenario. You need, in order to grow into those cycle ranks, you need to develop leadership and duplicate.
That makes sense? Sort of? Does it make sense? Okay, so let's take a look at that. So what in a binary, maybe this ever so I can see.
What, am I moving?
Okay, in a binary, right? So just kind of what Mark walked you through. We have a 2/3, 1/3 binary. And what's beautiful about that, when you create a team dynamic, right? It's 2/3 of your business is built with each other. 2/3 of your income is coming from
BV
shared
is generated by
your team.
by your team.
Right. And so when you have 600 BV on one side and 300 BV on the other, it's a total of 900 BV. 900 BV equals one cycle. 900 times 6%, Isagenix pays 6%, is $54. $54 equals one cycle.
So looking at this example further, right? Doing the math from the previous slide, you've got 3,000 BV here, you as executive, you have 3,000 BV here. We'll make this the team leg, right? The left team. That's 6,000 BV, and then you have 3,000 BV from your 1/3 team. Total of 9,000 BV divided by 900, which is how much BV is required for one cycle. It's easy math. It's 10 cycles at $54, and you're at $540 a month. That's with one executive on your left and one executive on your right.
And that's recurring income. Really important to know. That's when you're starting to dip into recurring income.
So
I'm sorry.
go ahead.
Go ahead, Merritt. Merritt? Okay. Merritt, when you can unmute and ask your question.
Oh, I'm sorry. I missed the screenshot of that last screen, and I had this one right here, and I had, yeah.
This
there it is.
one?
Nope, the next one.
That one.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know why it's not. There we go.
Got
Sorry.
it, Merritt?
Got it. Yep, thanks.
Okay. So now, continuing with the principle of duplication, you're an executive and you have 3 executives on your left and 3 executives on your right, right? So this is going to remain our team leg in this example. So you have you, which is 3,000, plus 3 times 3,000 because you have 3 executives. That's a total of 12,000 BV on your team leg, right? And the focus leg, your 1/3 team, you have 3 executives also. So 3 times 3,000 BV is 9,000 BV, right? So 12,000 BV over 9,000 BV. You're dividing the 12,000 by 600 because this is your 2/3 team. And the 9,000 by 300 because this is your 1/3 team. You're going to have 20 cycles because we're dividing this by 600. Does that make sense? 12,000 divided by 600 is 20 cycles.
I have a question. Doesn't the points from me,
From you personally?
okay, so my personal points would go to my focus leg.
Yeah, they go to your 1/3 team,
So,
but only if your auto ship is set to 28 days, Julie. If it's
But
set to,
what-
if it's set to 30 days, then the only BV that you're going to be credited for is anything over 100.
you might want to explain that again to
Okay.
people, but
So
in this scenario, half of my team up above, the graph you have of me being executive, you're counting all 30 going on the team leg?
yeah, just for the sake of the math.
Oh, okay,
Let's
just for the
not,
sake
let's
of
not
the
make
math.
it any more complicated than it needs to be.
Okay, just for the sake of math.
Yeah. So
She
The-
said, explain that again.
the way Isagenix handles your own personal business volume, which is called PV, personal volume, it automatically, whatever you spend automatically gets banked on your 1/3 team. Now, the reason why we coach everyone to set their auto ship, their subscription to 28 days is then Isagenix credits every BV that you spend to your 1/3 team. If your subscription is set to 30 days, then Isagenix credits your 1/3 team only with the BV that exceeds 100. So let's say your subscription is 110. At 28 days for your subscription, you're going to get credited for 110 BV. At 30 days, it's going to be 10.
Does that clear to everyone? Is everybody on 28 days for your subscription order?
No, did not know about the 28 days. Knew about
That's huge.
Knew about 20.
That didn't make, so what happened to all the other money? Did we just
Well,
lose
to be
it?
pa-
Or
to,
the-
to be paid, if you
Wow.
look at what are the requirements in Isagenix to be paid as consultants so that you're getting paid? You open yourself up to the opportunity
Paid as associate.
to earn income and then you need 100 BV every 30 days, right? And so, and then to actually get paid, you need 100 BV on your left of personally enrolled and 100 BV on your right. So they're personally enrolled, right? Is everybody clear on that? 100 BV for you, and that opens you up for business. And 100 BV on your left and 100 BV on your right allows you to get paid. Does everybody understand that? I need a
Yes.
yes or a
Yes.
no, so I know if I,
Yes.
Yes.
okay, all right. So Isagenix says you have to purchase product, every 30 days to keep your
To keep your business open.
active, right? But Isagenix, because they're so generous, said, but listen, if you make it a little less than 30 days, then the calendar is always going to be recognizing you as being active
More frequently.
more frequently. And so then you get credit for everything. And so you should always, for your entire purchase, you're getting paid for your purchases. Okay, so you should always have your subscription order set at 28 days, and anyone on your team that ever has a subscription order, it should be at 28 days, because then they will bank volume, right? So all
Yeah,
of their,
so think about that, right? If you're spending 100 BV every 28 days, then every 3 months on your 1/3 team,
1 month is only 28
you have a minimum of 300 BV,
short months.
right? Which could generate a cycle, assuming you have a 600 BV on your 2/3 team to match. Does that make sense?
So it helps you grow your asset. It's just another way that Isagenix opens that up for us. As a,
Stop the share and.
okay,
Can you go back over that again?
okay.
Oh, shoot. No, I
It's
forgot my
okay.
question.
This is good. You know, see, this is
Oh,
why we have to
about-
go over the numbers. This
Yeah,
is
with
why
the-
we have to do the numbers, so you don't leave any money on the table, right?
With
So,
the 28 days, you said it always goes to your 1/3 team?
Always goes to your 1/3 team.
Oh, so you can't designate which side it goes to?
No, not your own PV, your personal volume, no.
You want it to,
Oh.
anyway.
I thought at some point somebody said it goes to whichever side you need it to complete
That's what I
the
thought.
cycle.
That's what I thought.
No,
Okay.
No,
no.
I heard that somewhere. I
Well,
knew I
well,
did.
here, it maybe correct me if I'm right. In the instance where you are cranking your business and you're keeping your 1/3 and your 2/3 teams balanced, so you're cycling and cycling, that is true in that case. It will go to the side that you need to create your next cycle.
Okay. Okay.
It might be your team leg. It very rarely would be your team leg, but it could conceivably be. It will go, right, Lynn?
the computer is always looking for an opportunity to pay you, right? And so it is looking and finding where to put volume to pay you.
Yeah, 99% of the time, it's going to be on your 1/3 team. It's your 1/3 team for a reason. Yeah, Kim.
Somebody, I forget who explained this whole thing to me one time, but it was the first time, until now that it made sense to me. It's just another little different way of explaining it. And how it was explained to me was, we have a contract with Isagenix to stay active every 30 days to be commissionable. So Isagenix says, great, on that 30th day, if you only have your subscription running every 30 days, you've now basically made your
That's your
contract.
contract.
We're now gonna pay you. But it's like a bonus. If you have it at 28 days and you're buying a little more frequently, then they reward you by letting you keep your BV, your PV, and apply it towards your, banking. So
Right.
that made, you're going above and beyond just meeting your agreement with Isagenix for 30 days. You're doing it a little more frequently.
That's
Well,
beautiful. Well done. And that's very
Yeah.
simple and clear
Yeah,
to
that's great.
explain it that way.
That's great. That's great, Kim. Love
So
that.
it's the same idea as if you have a cycle equivalent of 2.51 or 2.50, as we said a moment ago, Isagenix is going to pay you for 3 cycles.
They always round, in other words, what he's trying to say there is they always round up. So anytime. So even, it's interesting, even in executive match, they always round up.
Mark, what if you, like sometimes we order, 100 BV for a special event and it goes to and we put it in our subscription, or we just order it because, like I have whatever that annual, I pay the annual shipping, the $100, I forgot what it's called off the top
Price
of
of
my head.
delivery.
Yeah, thank you. I said delivery, and I just put in an order because there's a special, like some of the specials. So that makes my 100 BV before the 28 days. As long as it's before the 28 days, you bank the volume, correct?
That's right.
Okay.
So whether or not it's on subscription,
Right. It just
Okay.
totals up what the purchases are for
For the 28 days.
the 28 days. Yep.
okay, so I know every single time I've met that at least. Because we always have specials and stuff.
Well, and that's what I always do, because I have ISA delivery as well, Julie. And I make sure that my subscription order at 28 days is at exactly 100 BV. Joni's an expert of this. She can put products together and get to exactly 100 BV. Right. And then anything extra that I order during the month, I just know what I'm doing is I'm getting paid. I'm getting paid. I'm getting paid. I'm banking that asset because I'm just, anything else that I order during the month is going to count as gravy for me. Right. So I always know I'm meeting my contract, but I'm also even being benefited by my contract because I set it for 28 days. But then anything extra that I order, I just do it through ISA delivery and I know I'm getting paid. So I can even look at it if I'm ordering enough that's going to create another cycle for me. I just think, well, I just got $54 off the cost of the products I just purchased. I mean, it's really quite remarkable and quite generous.
Really, there isn't any place that we've ever seen where Isagenix doesn't provide more
It's like the more, and that's
rather
why
than
it's,
take it away.
and it's why it's so important for you to understand like these little things, these nuances of the plan. And you'll see this over and over again, the more you understand it, how much they have set up even little details of this plan to make it as beneficial to you as possible. And that's what we want to make sure you know all of them so you don't leave any money on the table. Does that make sense, you guys?
Yeah, did they take away the my pack 10% bonus when you build your own? Because I've been trying to build one where I would get that and it doesn't ever I don't see it anymore like I used to.
I think
Like
it's
if
at
you-
165 BV is when the
Yeah.
10% comes
Yeah.
in.
It
And
is.
then
Yeah, so
there's
Dorothy, if you-
15%.
Yeah, if you go into your back office, I mean, go into Isagenix business, that, and you break, and it shows where the bonuses are, it actually breaks that down for you.
Okay,
there.
thank you.
You're welcome.
That has to be on a subscription order though, right? Or does it not?
I
No,
don't,
I'm not sure
I
on
think it
that.
was either way because I've
Okay,
I mean, if you enroll somebody on a my pack with 165 BV, they're still going to get a 10% discount.
gotcha. Okay.
only now we're getting a 20% commission for enrollments, which is even bigger and better. So remember that because it's huge.
Okay, does all that make sense so far?
Because then we're gonna go back to class. Everybody good? What time is it? We got 10 minutes more. Do you guys?
And if it isn't clear, just write down your questions.
Yeah, and you guys,
what's confusing.
I know it feels like it's a lot, but we promise you when we're done this, you're gonna be, oh, that's so simple, right? There are the bonuses, the leadership bonuses, and here's how you get to the numbers for recurring income. But again, if you're not sure of something, ask us. Or if you don't want to ask us right here in this forum, send us a question. We'll make sure it's really clear. Because if you have a question, probably everybody else does too.
How many of you all took geometry
Oh, no, don't do that, Mark. Don't do that. All right, let's go
Question
back to
is, have you
screen
ever used
sharing.
it since?
Oh, I loved it. I went to state rally in geometry. I use
I believe
geometry
it.
every day. Yeah. Business runs off
Yeah, you
geometry.
would use geometry every day,
Yes,
of course.
you're right? Yep.
What are we doing? Sharing the screen?
Back to screen share. Okay, so you guys, the reason why you want to understand this, okay? So if you're saying to yourself, look, I want to make X number of dollars in residual income. This is a really quick way for you to understand it. So does it matter that you learn duplication? Does it matter that you have a business conversation so that you have people coming on board who are building a business, right? And now you see from what we have been training the last couple of weeks, your guaranteed pay comes from you being in, what are you doing here?
I just want to just
Okay,
emphasize this
okay.
again.
So your guaranteed pay comes from you being paid as executive. So executive is our standard, right? Because there is a lot of money to be paid as executive. So when you say to someone, are you open to making income right alongside what you already do? Can I show you how to do it?
Can I show you how to make $26,800 a year?
Yes. And you guys, the hardest part of this build is the first part, your run to executive. And when you do it, and as you do it, you will then have an understanding of how it's done and you can help your people do it. When you're talking business, when you're coming in with a business and like back to this, where'd that go? That stack. Oops, not that way. There we go. When you're building a business this way, where everyone is working synergistically together, that standard of everyone goes to executive becomes part of the DNA of your team because everyone is coming in and they're sharing their network. You have a network, Jim, that I don't know. And I have the know-how and the expertise in building a business that will create an income producing asset that will help you from being so vulnerable when your company is laying off or when your company is restructuring or when your business had to close like it did last year or the year before. I'm going to show you how to build a recurring income. You bring your network to me and let's start talking to them.
So,
Okay.
so Chelsea Lauren grew her cycles by 150 a month just by asking people, if I could show you a way to make $26,000 or $27,000 a year, is that something that you'd be interested in hearing more about?
And you guys, do you see when you're using that language? I want everybody to write that down. Okay, and tell me after you've written it down, if I could show you a way to make another almost $27,000 a year more, to build a financial wall around your future, would you be open to it? And what do you have to do? I want someone to answer this. What do you have to do to achieve that almost $27,000 a year? You have to be paid as what?
Paid as executive
Yeah.
Exactly. So executive is the
And do the-
standard.
and do
Right?
the work to be in the pools.
Well, the pools are going to would be coming because of this team dynamic of executive being the standard, right? Because then you're growing your business. How do you get paid in the pools? You earn 40 points.
You
in the
own
pool.
40 points. Yeah.
And how many points do you get for being paid as executive in the pool?
Four each week, 16 to
16
20.
points.
16 to 20. If you have a 5-week,
That's it.
That's right, Julie.
5-week month, it's 20.
So you guys
Okay.
listen to that. Again, another way Isagenix goes like they're so exceptionally generous.
And now you guys, with the 20% commission, this 26,800 is more like 30,000, because along the way, as you've built your team, you have 30 people, you've sold, they've bought product from you. So more than likely, you're going to have close to $30,000.
And you guys, this really matters that you understand this, because you're all here to build an income. Every one of you is here with an intention to build an income. So why is it important for you to have that question absolutely locked for you? Would you be open to learn? Like, we're doing a lot. We're saying to people, look at all that's happening. That's why I keep showing you those slides up front. And I know I keep showing it to you over and over again, because you've got to understand what's going on in our economy, in our world today. It's crazy out there. And so would you be open to a plan to make your family less vulnerable? Would you be open to building another asset, building more income right alongside? This language is really important, what you already do. People approach things with an employee mindset. They're thinking about trading time for money. You need to help them overcome that.
You guys, the median household income in the United States is $50,000. That means that there are half as many people below 50 as above 50. $50,000. 30,000, you're well on your way.
That's a lot of money.
And that's only one cycle a week.
So
Right?
the new,
So $30,000 is really meaningful to a lot of people.
and I can tell you something, it's something I'm doing right now with several people, several leaders. We're out there talking to people who are out in the corporate world or out having their own businesses, and people are open to this question. Would you be open to building more income right alongside what you're already doing? Ask that question. Like, how many people were on the United Call or heard the United Call today? Amazing. Well done all who were on. What did Lisa say? The thing is about we need more training on how the language of talking about building a business. It's, again, the #1 resolution this year. You have to know that. So when you're speaking to people, remember my story from last week. When you ask someone, can they get started with a 30-day? It's resistance, right? At times, it's a lot for one person to take out of their family food budget. But to spend $299 to open a business is like a bargain, right? And so having this conversation, being comfortable with it, even if you're uncomfortable with it, it's time to grow, right? So when you're asking, how do I get to this type of income? You need to grow you need to go executive and grow executives. And how do you grow executives? By having business conversations where they're exposing their network to you. And it's a really simple process. Lisa, Kim and I are going to teach you this. We're going to teach you exactly what the steps are. It's so so fun. You have no, it's so fun. Isn't it, Kim? It's fun.
So, Lynn, I sent out a recording of the power lines and the script from Susan Miller. I sent out a voice message and I said it's slow enough so people could repeat it after me. You know, like an affirmation.
Yeah.
So that you just get comfortable with was, listen, 99% of these, all of us on this call are employees. Or
And so
small,
you
but
have
you
an
know, like,
employee mindset. I'm just going to say
right,
it.
so we are not used to talking about, I mean, I've had my little business for years, my summer camp, but you know, it's a language to use, to learn, like you said, to grow it, to get comfortable talking about money. And the more we can understand it, the more we can hear you speak it and talk about it, the more it's like makes it real to speak about it.
We have to know what it is. You have to know how much money is in this plan, but also how do you get there?
Yeah,
Like-
it's like, I mean, I think we've talked about this before, right? There isn't anybody on this call, I'm sure, that would agree to take a job, a W-2, without A, knowing what their salary was, and B, what are they going to have to do to get that salary?
Is that true, everyone? Is that true? Would anybody here take a job? and say, I don't care what you
that's-
pay me, or I don't care. I don't know how you're going to pay me, but it's fine. You'd say, how much am I going to get paid? Right.
And what do I have to do for it?
And so,
How does it work?
so you are all business owners here. And so it's so important that you understand, because when you want to look someone in the eye and say, would you be open to learning how to make income outside of, right alongside what you're already doing? Would a $30,000 raise make a difference to you? You have to be confident in these numbers.
I mean, think about it. A teacher who's making 60K a year. I don't really know what teachers make, but let's say it's 60K a year. And you say to them, you ask them if $30,000 more a year would make a difference. That's 50% of what they're making. That's a lot of money.
Lynn,
Yes.
this is so great going over all the numbers. What I'm thinking about in my head and that keeps coming up for me is that, yes, I'm learning this again better than I've ever learned before. But the fact of the matter is, knowing this for ourselves first is important. And then to be able to teach it is important. But the moment we get somebody who's raising their hands, you know, like the fear factor for me is, I say, if I could show you a way to make $30,000 more doing, you know, building a business alongside what you're already doing in the pockets of your time, would you be interested? And they say yes. And then my mind goes blank. It's like, oh
Then
my
you
God,
say, I'd
okay,
like to
I
get
know
you-
I can get to 30,000, but then it's bringing them to you and Mark, and
That's
you
all.
actually teach them this.
That's
And
all.
it's not like, you know, they won't know our lingo. They won't know cycles.
Right.
They won't know everything initially, but it's really what we're trying to get to is, we
Are
know
you open?
solidly in our hearts that 30,000 is possible by getting to exec, staying exec. And we don't have to explain that to people right off the bat. We just
Oh,
need
it's
to
such
know
an
that they're open to making that. And I think
Garrett, that is
100%.
such an incredibly important point. So for each of you, we are not showing this to you expecting you to be able to teach it. Okay. We want you to believe it. We want you to be able to vision cast it and
Just
say to yourself,
understand it.
I see how this happens. I can see this happening. When I'm talking to Mary and I say right alongside what you already do, Mary will understand it. And listen, we're talking simplicity and duplication. So if anyone who was on the United call, something amazing happened today.
It was amazing.
Amazing.
It's
So
amazing.
Lisa's saying we should all be doing opportunity trainings all the time. We should have opportunity calls all the time and share our story and show the numbers. And then Kathy, very observant. Kathy, I love her so much.
Kathy Savage.
I love Kathy Savage. And she said, but you know what? I'm kind of getting a feeling when I'm looking at the chat that some of you are not comfortable with opportunity presentations. Am I right? And, you know, I
The
typed
chat
in,
box blew up.
I typed it. Yes, they are not, people are not comfortable doing opportunities. So they're all going to do opportunity presentations like one night a week. I mean, everybody's going to take a night. So you can say, so if somebody says to you, Merritt, well, how would I do that? Say, funny, you should ask. one of the millionaires in our company is doing a call tonight. You can jump on and see exactly how we do it. But also what Kim and I are going to show you next is the process that we're doing right now. And Kim, I just want you to, for everyone, just a yes or a no. Is it easy what we're doing?
This first step has been really easy. But the next step is getting into what you're saying. It's actually laying out, this is how your build would look. So, that
next
has
step
me
will
a little nervous, but
the next
I
step
know
is
we'll get
rinse.
there.
Kim, the next step is rinse and repeat, right? So
Wow.
the next step is this simple. You're going to do exactly what we have just done. You're going to bring your network to us. Like you guys, we're only going to show the light 10 feet down the highway. We're not showing them the entire forest. You'll see, as we walk through this system, you'll see the simplicity of it. It is much easier than going out and trying to find, honestly, 100 product users that are all active at exactly the same time. Because what do product users do? I'm going on vacation. I'm going to stop my products for right now. They're both valid builds, but to get to residual recurring income, you want partners. You want committed consumers. Does that make sense, everybody?
I mean, Lisa said it on the call today. She said, when she goes to sleep, I don't worry about whether I have 10 consultants or not. Because I know my leaders, they're leaders. They're taking care of their stuff, right? They're watching their business. They're taking care of their business so that Lisa can take care of business and grow her business. She's not worried about, oh my God, it's the end of the month. Do I have 10 consultants? No.
So Wanda, you're an executive and you're watching your business and making sure you're paid as executive. So you're taking responsibility for those 30 accounts. And you're always, and as you've all said and recognize, you're always adding to it, right? Lisa, you're adding consultants. So I know that Wanda is taking care of her business. She's one of my executives, right? I know that Merit's taking care of her business. She's one of my executives. I know that Julie is. She's one of my executives. You see how it works?
Why? Because they know that by being paid as executive, there's $30,000 a year that they're making.
Makes sense?
Minimum. That's only one cycle a week.
Yes, Lisa.
Can I ask you I keep hearing it and I think I understand it and then I don't in these calls. They're talking about driving the line.
Yes.
To me, that's not building executives, right? That's going one leg deep. Is that right?
Driving the line.
Is what Lynn was just talking about.
Yeah.
Actually.
So you're actually, so let's say,
Let's go to-
okay, just a second. There we go. So this is what driving the line looks like. Okay. So let's say you bring in Sam and Sue. Okay. These are all on, let's say, your right team. And you bring in Sam and Sue. And both Sam and Sue are interested in building a residual income, an asset. So they're going to expose their network to you. And they're going to be bringing in and run for executive. So one of the people that Sue brings in that's going to, that from her network that also wants to create residual income is Jim. This is driving the line. So I'm going to, let's say I'm the you. I'm going to be working with Sue. I'm going to be working with helping Jim. I'm going to be working with Sam and Joe. And in the process, Sue is going to learn from mentorship what the conversation looks like, and she's going to watch it happen. So I'm going to be growing a leader in Sue. All right. And I'm going to be growing a leader in Sam. And then we're going to do the same thing. We're going to drive the line deeper because Sue's exposing her network to me. Jim's bringing his network to the equation. We're driving the line into the business and everybody's doing the same thing.
So driving the line is building builders.
Yes, it's building leaders.
Oh, okay.
It's
Okay.
building leaders. That's what you're doing. That's what this whole process is. You're building leaders. So when we show you all those different executives to get to that income level that you're all seeking, that's what you're doing. You're driving the line and building, growing executives.
Go
I
executive.
thought driving the
When-
line was a strategy of how you're placing people, but it's not. It's about driving
Well,
business
it
builders.
kind of is both, right? Because
Lynn,
when
can-
you're, It's not you, it's not where you are placing people. It's what you're building and stacking, creating that synergistic energy between people and you're building that. And and we'll talk about this. I don't want to, I know it's late.
Can I pipe in real quick?
Wait, let me
Lisa's
just finish what I was going to say,
doing
Julie.
that.
The thing that matters so much in the strategy of this is it's so incredibly beautiful when you build your 2/3 leg and start rolling with it, how fast your cycles start to rock and roll. It's like Isagenix, again, you guys just know this. Let me say it to you and we'll just know this. They have set this up so that everybody in their first position can run it like a re-entry position, which we're going to show to you. So again, it's just, you don't have to know it to teach it. You have to know it to have confidence in it. That's really what we're trying to do here. Does that make sense, you guys?
Can I add something about Lisa? Because I think this would be a good thing. Lisa, you are doing a beautiful job with your team. You have Scott, you have Cindy, you have me on there, you have KJ, you have us all in that text stream. And that's building that camaraderie, that collaboration. The only thing I would say is it's really geared towards product. Now, how do we move them into gearing it towards business? Like Scott is prime, because that's what you want. You want to take, imagine if you had those people, and instead of the conversation about, oh, I lost 2 pounds, or I mean, that's good stuff. But imagine if they said, I just enrolled a business builder, or I just made $500 and started, you understand what I mean? The dialogues and the focus is a little different.
Well, I'll tell you something that's amazing. So we were at Jenny's house this weekend and for a great event. And what was such a beautiful thing is all these people who have an interest in building the business. We're also talking about, I mean, talk about committed consumers. They're all like, I will never go off these products. Like, I will never, ever go off these products. And it's like, it's like at one point I was like listening to us, and I was like, we sound like a cult. Because like Nikki was saying, I can't even imagine, like I've been on these products every single day for all these years, and we're all saying the same, like talking about that. So committed consumers, right?
And that's what I'm building right now is people have to know the product to jump in, because that's how they were hand delivered to me. Now I've got a whole group of people that haven't even started because I'm grooming them to jump in.
But if you don't ask the question, again, even if you're building, because when you're doing bottom up, which is building product users, you have to know, like they're not coming to you with an intention to share. They're coming to you because they have an issue they want to resolve, right? When you have someone that you start, right, they have a health goal. But when you're starting when you're starting and you're leading with business, you have people coming with a business goal. So they know in order for their business to be open to business, they have to have 100 BV a month. You're building in that committed consumer. I'm going to tell you, after 2 or 3 months on the product, they're going to stay on the product because it's how their business functions, right? That's their investment in their business. But they are going to fall in love head over heels with the products, and their order basket on average is going to be much larger, right? And so leading with the business, asking that question, would you be open to creating additional income in 2023, right alongside what you're already doing? Get comfortable with that.
And if you think, Lisa, further to that, right? So the other part of this and what's going on in the economy and with people is there are also a lot of people that they can weather this downturn, right? It's going to be painful. Maybe they have to dip into their 401k or their savings or something, right? But why it's so important to understand this plan and be really good at question asking is if I went to Scott Rep and I said, dude, how'd you like to earn $54 a week? Probably wouldn't get his attention. But Scott, if I could show you a way to make $700,000 a year residually, year after year, is that something that you would be interested in learning more about?
Or I would just say, if I could show you a way to make additional income right alongside what all you're already doing, and ask them what that number would look like. That's what I would do, right? So that, go ahead, Merritt.
Keep going with that thought. This is different. Go
So
ahead.
I would ask them, so I would know how to show them what that would look like. What is that number for you? right? Because we also don't want to over forecast for someone. So somebody might say, you know, really the number I need, and they're going to be thinking about something in their life that is a problem for them. So it might be the number I need is 20,000 a year. Or someone said to me, okay, I need 1,000 a month. 1,000 a month will make such a difference in my life. And they're thinking about what the bill is. And like, I'm not going to talk to them about a number significantly higher. I'm going to find out exactly what that number is and show them how to get it. In all likelihood, when they do that, that number is going to grow.
So Lynn, here's where this kind of dovetails, and it's a little bit what Lisa's saying, you know, turning product users into business builders and whatnot. That $30,000 that we're talking about, being executive, staying executive, are the leadership pools. And the number, what was the maximum amount that we can earn in the leadership pools?
Well, the number we have in there is
the minimum number.
average.
Okay. So, but what Julie was saying is, just by staying executive the 4 weeks, you get 16 out of your 40 points.
Yes.
Well, the other part of that 40 points comes from driving the line and building leaders,
Yep.
right?
100%.
So that's really, it is part of this executive bonus program, because it's that little part of it fits right in there.
It all is driving. All of the bonuses in this company are designed to drive your business to creating and building residual income. It's the whole plan. But what they did is they want to support you during those days where you're learning and growing. And that's why they put all these amazing upfront, very generous upfront bonuses. They put them in there to give you time to build this asset. I mean, it's
Which blows me away.
It's amazing.
Blows me away. All of us have had businesses in some capacity. No one ever paid me to build my client base year after year at my summer camp.
Yeah.
No one ever paid me to do that. Every year I had to work my tail off to go get my client again, even though a lot of them are repeat clients. It's amazing, the generosity of this company. It just is genius. It's genius, people.
So I know it's late. I think we'll take one more question and then we'll pick back up next week. And I think it's, who had her hand up? Wanda. Go ahead, Wanda.
It's not going to be so much a question, but I will say that probably about 3 weeks ago, Mark made a comment. And it pretty much, it was such a good comment, and it was such a grounding thing that you shared. Lynn, you weren't there. And so, but it had to do with the residual income, because I was getting a little bit, you know, I'm doing 3 cycles a week. I'm making a little bit of this and that. Even told Julie, you know, I go out to a job and I won't say how much I can make in that 1 hour or 3 hours. But when you said the residual income, I know residual income because we do real estate. We've been doing real estate for 20 years. That real estate, I won't tell you, it's a lot of money, and we're debt free. It comes in every month like clockwork. We live where we live off of residual income. It's worth it. It's freaking worth it to put the time in right now while we've got the opportunity. It's the only reason that I'm willing to put in the time, because it's very discouraging for me. It's humbling to have to be where I am and do what, but I believe in it, not just for myself, but everybody else who's going to be my 10 executives who are going to make their executives, because that's how it works. It works because we have our besties as a team of executives, and we're going to do this, and they're going to have their executives. It's going to be a beautiful thing.
You know, I love that. Congratulations on that. Well done, woman. Well done. And I just want to say one thing about the humbling and that it's hard. Look, we get it. Like, you know, the world we came from. But I have to tell you something. There was a place, and I think I said it to you, Mert, like, I realized at a certain point I had become a professional network marketer when I realized that it's not something to be discouraged about. It's recognizing what we have here. And, you know, it's like the real estate that you're doing, that's benefiting you and Don, right? But what we get to do, and that's why it's like, there's no room in it for me, for like mindset. Sure, I have good days and bad days. Of course I do. But overall, I just think about, this is the only thing I know that I can do that's not only going to change my life, but it's going to change the life of all these executives that I'm bringing on board. It's going to change the life. Every time I have the courage to have this conversation, someone who is like trying to figure out how they're going to pay their bills. They're trying to figure out how they're going to put their son through a great school, or how they're going to finally take a family vacation they've been dreaming of, or just not be so afraid all the time of getting fired or something going wrong, or putting new tires on their car. Like that, that we can do that for people and show them in such a simple thing. They're doing it right alongside what they're already doing. All they're doing is sending out messages. They're exposing their network to me or you, Merritt. Like, if that's all it takes. It's not like this is a crazy amount of work.
Because really, as a traditional business owner or an employer, right? Kind of the same thing. I mean, the most I could ever do on Wall Street was give somebody a job. Great. Here's X amount of money. Your bonuses will be who knows what, and
You may be fired at any point.
You're
Next
at,
merger.
you're at will. It could be a week. You know, thanks, but see you. But here, looking at that $26,800, at that $30,000,
That's guaranteed money.
we can hand people their own economy,
and peace of mind.
right? 30,000 every year, right? Show up in your own business, work with amazing people.
And so it's 30 accounts that you have to keep track of. Well, when they're business partners, it's a lot less to keep track of. So mindset is the most important thing in this business for each and every one of you. So no, I'm not going to allow myself to be discouraged. No, I'm not going to look at this as a big number. No, I'm not going to look and say, well, I'm not an executive. If you've been leading with product, that conversation happens, right? So when you just are responsive to the time, the amazing, unique time that we're in. I mean, this is what I focus on, is the sociological changes that are happening in our world right now. This is an extremely unique time. Amazing opportunity for each of us. Just get good at asking that question. Really, just get good at asking that question. And then in your own mind, say, I'm a professional network marketer. I'm in it and I'm staying in it. And I'm going to master my mind, because I know that's the biggest challenge of this business. The first part of the build in anything in life is the hardest part. This next time you have belief, you just have the rhythm of it. It's easier then. So I know it's late. Thank you so much for hanging in.
The reality is we suck until we don't.
We suck until we don't. Me too.
Every one of us. Kathy Savage on the call, you'll hear it, had the greatest story about her first request at a meeting to talk about the compensation.
It's so funny.
It was hilarious. She had no idea what to say because she didn't know anything.
He didn't care about the products. And so anyway, it's very funny.
Yeah, it's a great
These
story.
calls will help your mindset dramatically. And you
And I
know,
think it's a long game, and it's a long game. You know, it's in a sense, you got to understand, we're in it for the long game. We're in it for, well, like 3 years as a school teacher, you are not a good school teacher. It's 3 years minimum to be a school teacher, that you're not going home every night and working 3 hours to prepare for the next day, week, month.
anything.
I mean,
Yeah, and as soon as you get that figured
anything.
out, they assign you to a different grade.
That's exactly right. Yeah, or a different school, and then you start over. But
That could be
it's-
harder, what we do. It could be a lot harder. There are a lot of things in life that we do that are a lot harder. So we're going to end with that, because we love you all. Thank you for hanging in. These lessons matter. I know like it's almost like you want to skip over it, but they matter. They give you confidence in what we're doing. So
I want to know about the meeting the other night at Jenny's house, more on how y'all did it and your presentation and that kind of stuff. Jenny, maybe you and I'll talk.
I can call you tomorrow.
all
All
right.
right, perfect.
Want to be on that call too, though.
Thank you, because we're
Oh,
moving
my
into
bad.
a business conversation that we need some help with.
Listen, you know what?
Just know there was no formal presentation, Julie.
Yeah, not this time.
Not this time.
This is the lead up, but we're learning the technique of that, right? Because
Oh.
sometimes you just have to get to know people and where they are.
Yes.
And where
Yeah.
they're coming from. It's like, it's a marathon, not a sprint. So we don't have to be in such a hurry to talk about it. We just have to find out who our partners are, which is what we did in that meeting. We found out who the partners were. We were pretty excited when we left. I said to Mark and I were talking, I told Jenny today.
Oh, we had so much
we're like,
fun.
this is really cool. Like, she has got the foundation of a silo of people all building together, driving the line. It's a beautiful thing to do. But maybe we'll include that when Kim and I are doing the training, we'll also talk about how to set up those meetings so that you can get to that place. So Mary, I think you had one last comment, and then we're
I
gonna.
actually just had a question. I'm going to go back and listen to the recording from today. The opportunity meetings that they're setting up, do we know when those are going to be? Do they have a time? Will those
No,
be
they
in
have to
Isagenix
work all
business?
that out, Mary. They have to work
But
it
she
out.
said something about next week. So I think they're planning on starting, they want to get going on this.
Yeah.
And
I thi-
I'll reach out and ask Lisa.
Okay.
what She's planning. I'll
And-
They're gonna do it fast.
yeah, they're gonna
And
do it.
guys, Thursday night, Jimmy Smith's meeting is so awesome. They're bringing in, Joni was on the other night. I mean, they're bringing in massive leaders.
Ellen
massive-
Bradley's on this week, you guys. So, yeah.
Who is?
Yeah, well, Sonny's on all these calls, so he's watching this whole thing too. I mean, it's really, these calls are, I mean, I'm so grateful for them. This
Jenny,
is our future. This is the lead. This is the point of the arrow into our future is the United Call.
Into this wave of momentum.
Yeah, it is. It is. So again, I'm sorry. I keep saying goodnight and we keep talking. So I love you all so much. I could do this
Yeah,
all night.
It's time for an IPA now.
Yeah, right.
Oh,
Good
that
night,
sounds
everyone.
awesome. Good night.
Good night,
Good
you
night.
guys.